People, deluded, I'm back again. Now it's Monday morning and I'm sure many Arsenal fans like myself, you've accepted the result, people. It is what it is. Now there's a lot of reports saying Emery is to be sacked today. Don't shoot the messenger. I can't confirm that because I don't work for Arsenal. My guess is he probably wouldn't be sacked, but it would be expected. There'll be more calls from the media, potentially from players, obviously from fans, to cut this relationship of 15 to 18 months that Emery and Arsenal have had short, because it needs to be divorced, because it's clear that we're trying to go two separate ways. For Emery, I told you, look, when you move to another club, whether it's PSG, and obviously PSG are not on that, Arsenal are not on the same stature of PSG. When you move to these sort of clubs, whether they're big clubs or mammoth clubs, you have to first and foremost be clear in what you want to do, and you have to reinvent yourself. Look at Pep Guardiola and Klopp. Look, on compare, for obvious reasons, go and look at their first years at their respective clubs, and now look now. A lot of their corporate principles have stayed the same. You know, Klopp is high energy, high demanding, but his approach has changed, whether that was because of the players available to him or the demands of the league. Pep the same. Emery's failed to adjust. He's unclear on what he wants to do as a manager. For me, it's not even a thing where we've gone from a manager, not to praise Wenger because you not know I love him, but he had his shortcomings. We've gone from a manager who never thought about the the defensive side of the game and just purely attacking, to someone that's ultra defensive. We shouldn't have a negative goal difference with Mesut Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe within our side, people within our ranks. Teams that have been beating us and collecting points would do more damage with these players in their side. So we're not utilising our individuals. And for me, it's clear that Emery doesn't know what he wants us to do. He clearly doesn't trust us enough in an attacking sense, and he's not necessarily not wrong. He hasn't freed the shackles for our players, so our players are playing with a handbrake in these games. They're seeing five at the back, they're seeing all of this lack of attacking play, and they're seeing that Emery doesn't believe in them, so they can't really thrive in an offensive sense. Because Emery is pragmatic and scared, where there's some sort of defensive element or over cautious play to our game, in which he hasn't coached us to make us a side that's able to withstand high periods of pressure, able to defend outnumbered, able to remain concentrated for high moments of time, just remain switched on. Look at the first goal we conceded at the weekend. We switch off from a free kick. Professional footballers, some have played for their countries. It's a classic Sunday league tactic. Take a quick free kick. Emery's failed to introduce that. So if you want to be defensive and pragmatic, you need to be able to improve us defensively, and he hasn't. If you look at his time at Seville, obviously he failed to win away from home, and one issue of Arsenal was how we defend in away goals, and how we play in away games, pardon me people. Two areas that, whatever way you shape it, were the biggest areas of concern. Failed to address them. You look at Seville, he had the only consistency Emery has shown is inconsistency with his lineups. 7 different formations in his last 7 games, people. That tells you everything you need to know. It doesn't make sense. You look at his time at Seville, he more or less did 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or a variation of it. He's chopping and changing. Does he believe in these players? And if he doesn't believe in these players, it's his fault, because he's been allowed to run the rule over this team now, people. You look, it doesn't make no sense. Everything is on Emery now. You're seeing, apparently, the Mirror is saying Emery's edging closer to the exit door after there's boardroom unrest. We already know that Raul Sanllehi is the man that wants to protect Emery and wants Emery to turn it around. Other members are having cold feet and are having concerns. We did hear someone from the Arsenal board allegedly wanted to resign following this draw. And I also have to ask the board, do you remember the language? Apparently, we had an encouraging performance in the defeat against Leicester, and they were convinced that Emery can turn it around. What are you going to say now? Whether we're winning, losing or drawing games, fans, and I can only speak for myself, we're saying the same thing with how we're playing. He doesn't trust these players. The players don't trust him. We know the players must be, I'm not saying down in tools and not playing for him, but they clearly don't believe in that man, people. And you're seeing the language come out already at the club, people. If you allow me to speak on what the Telegraph is coming out with. Arsenal players have lost faith in head coach Unai Emery and do not believe he is the man to salvage their season. Emery is under increasing pressure following another poor performance and result against relegation-threatened Southampton, and there's growing feeling among the squad that he should be replaced. For me, they've got to. They're playing different formations. They're not excelling. People are being shoehorned. People are playing different formations. Clearly, the way in which he communicates what he wants to do or the information is ineffective. The way he's been managing individuals, whether it's Ozil or Xhaka, There's no smoke without fire. The one common denominator has to be Unai Emery, people. These are the swords he's dying on. Whether he wants to get rid of Ozil, for example, he needs to stand in his principles. 1 minute he wants Ozil, then he doesn't, and then he's playing him. 1 minute he wanted Xhaka, now Xhaka apparently is not his captain, didn't want him as his captain. Apparently players are bewildered. Coaches alike are bewildered. It's his hill to die on. He's failed to reinvent himself, people. He's failed to reinvent his own approach and realise what I've done wrong. He's had 15 months. We needed to get it spot on in the summer or anything close to, and we haven't. Emery's chopped and changed and messed around, and he doesn't know. He keeps talking about finding balance and finding solutions. The only solution is this man out of this football club. And for me, if the players have given up, we know this season's over. It's a mad season and that top four is still there, but a team in our position with our points at this period hasn't done it in 12 years. I'm all for this mighty duck stuff and defeating the odds, people, but realistically it's over. So it's about salvaging what we can. I'm not talking about from this season. I'm talking the longer these players are, the players that have any small hope of staying at this club or want to stay at this club, the longer Emery comes with losing out on top four, they're going to question themselves. We've already lost top four. We've already missed out on potentially 45 million. What more do these people want to lose out on? It's damage limitation now. I made a vid. I said the club have to be planning for next summer, people. We have to have a plan Z. And I say plan Z in that we do not get top four. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mesut Ozil, all of these players that are linked with moves away. What you describe as the core of our team, throw Torreira in there as well. Any player that you see linked with a move away, obviously not all of them will leave, but if all of them want to leave and you want to sell them and reinvest, we need to think about how we're going to move this club forward and how we're going to take a look at this side. Because Arsenal love unfinished projects. We've got some young players from last season. We brought in Pepe, but if Lacazette leaves, if Torreira leaves, if Aubameyang leaves, whether I rate Xhaka or not, the very fact that Xhaka has been playing consistently, you've seen Bellerin linked with moves. These are players, excluding Xhaka, give or take, that, well, the manager's been playing him, that you would say are key fragments of the team. So if they're going to leave, the club need to get spot on with what we're doing next year, people, in my humble opinion. And they need to think about what more they want to lose. I think Aubameyang and Lacazette, if I was them, I'd leave. But if you want to convince them, go out and get a manager that they can believe in so that we can get something, if nothing more from this season, just the fans, the manager and the club can just move forward in the same direction. The players need something. They're crying to buy into something, sorry. And I don't think anyone can accuse these players of anything because they bought into Emery. They were praising him. They were talking about the double sessions and this and that. And it's quickly been eroded. And similar to fans, they probably sat there and looked at it and been like, yo, rah, like this guy's kind of dead, you know, looking at it. When we look past the fact that we've got a new manager and energy and things, he's not really doing anything, you know. That's what I humbly believe, people. And moving on, like I said, apparently players are confused by Emery's tactics and instructions and believe the team has no identity under the Spaniard. In the boardroom, Chips Keswick reportedly considered submitting his resignation. Allegedly, Emery, however, still has his supporters and sympathisers in the dressing room, but they are becoming few and far as the players feel he will not be able to find the right solution. A source told The Telegraph, the problem is the coach. He still makes bad decisions and changes his tactics. There's no identity to the team and the players do not see any progress. I mean, it is what it is, people. I mean, if Raul Sanllehi genuinely believes that that Emery's the man to turn it around, then fair enough. But if it doesn't happen, you've got to go as well, because we've got to be looking at Raul Sanllehi, because we've been praising his work and what he's done. But we have to start. I'm starting to look at. Can someone find a reason why it didn't work out at Barcelona? Was it that, you know, certain things might start coming to light, and that's the beauty with Glazidis and Wenger leaving, in that we're seeing what we don't all. Of course, we don't exactly know what man are doing, but there's no one to hide behind. There's no agendas. And I think we need to look at the board, because Emery's being allowed to keep doing his madness, and he's being given that. Obviously, he's feeling pressure, but he's clearly being given the confidence to know that he can change his tactics and mess things around, because he retains the key support of alleged members in the boardroom. So we need to look at the mentality. We was told be excited, this and that. Project Emery just simply hasn't worked out. There's no shame in that. We could change a manager and it doesn't work out again. That happens in football. It doesn't mean persisting with Emery we're going to be a success. It doesn't mean a new manager is going to guarantee success. But what I believe is trying and seizing your future. Don't allow things. Arsenal seem to just be oohing and ahhing and sleepwalking into the abyss right now. Just hoping that Emery turns it around, or hoping that we deteriorate so much that the board are pressed for a decision. And I mean, what is this, people, really and truly? Even Perez is coming out and he's saying everybody at Arsenal, even Emery, knows that they are in big trouble. Emery is a competitor. He knows the high level. He was a great manager with Seville, with PSG, but the situation is not so good. He's a good manager. I think he'll make a success with Arsenal. I hope for him anyways. The solution isn't so good. The situation, sorry, isn't so good. But him and the players need to find a solution. Now, Perez is doing lip service, people. Clearly, he doesn't even believe in the man. It is what it is in that regards, people. And I mean, it's a joke, people. And he deserves to be under all this fire. The only thing I don't advocate is witch hunting and stuff, but all of these question marks need to be asked, because I was telling people, keep this same energy now, when the same energy was given him when he was 22 unbeaten, when these same signs were there, keep the same energy. And if we just look at people, Orbino, the Twitter account, has done a nice little thread, quick little thread, in relation to the Arsenal top brass, thinking we're showing clear signs of improvement under Emery. In our opening 6 games, 3 at home and 3 away, we got 11 points from 6 games. In the last 7, 4 at home and 3 away, they've picked up 7 points. In the opening 6 games, we scored 11 goals. In the last 7, we've managed 7 goals. In the opening 6 games of the season, we averaged 14.3 shots per game. That has been reduced in our last 7 fixtures to 10.9. Obviously, defence, people, in our opening 6 games, we conceded 10 goals compared to 9 in our last 7 outings, people. In terms of shots faced, there has been a slight improvement, actually. First 6 games, teams averaged 18.3. In the last 7, there's been 15.4. But the last 3 games, it's been an average of 21.3. So we're still getting peppered. So there is no real improvement, people. So we're facing record shots. We're unable to defend. We've got no identity going forward. There's just no clear method of playing, people. Emery needs to go. How has he still got into this position? How Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Unai Emery and Marco Silva, if he hasn't left Everton, are still in their positions is a mystery to me, people. It really is. Like I said, in Arsenal's last 7 games, he's used 7 different formations, people. We've scored 14 goals, conceded 15, had 5 draws, 1 loss and 1 win, and we've been poor in all of them. Apparently, Burnley have more goals this season than us. And have they got Aubameyang and Lacazette and them man there? Or have they got Chris Wood and Volks and them man? No disrespect to them, but there's clearly a gulf in quality. So that's on the manager, people. And it is what it is in that regards. Away from that, and to finally wrap things up, apparently the Sun is saying that PSG, Liverpool and Arsenal are tracking Wolves' 18-year-old defender Owen at Sowie. Now, I look at Wolves here and there, but I don't know enough about him to be bringing interviews and scouting reports and all of these things for you. If these teams are interested in him, then he must be half decent. If we can pry him from Wolves is another case, but we'll have to see. We've also been linked with Vinicius Jr., I can never say his name, from Madrid again. I would like him. Do we necessarily need another winger? You could make a case for it. He ties in with being young and whatnot, and he can be a winger/striker long term. He's got a lot of potential. Potentially there's a case for addressing other areas, but if there is an opportunity and there is legs to this story beyond just paper talk, then I'd personally be down for that, people. Finally, apparently Pochettino is being linked, or stronger linked, to the Arsenal position. Apparently he's relishing it. Seeing is believing. I wouldn't mind Pochettino at the club, but I can't see it happen. This is a man who said he wouldn't manage Barcelona because of his fondness for Espanyol. Now, it is what it is. People say these things all the time, but Poch, I don't want to say the word loyalty in football, and he really owes Spurs no loyalty because he was there 5 years. You got rid of, man. It is what it is. But I don't think he'll sign for Arsenal, so I think we need to nip that one in the bud. But if he did, I'd be on it, because unlike Unai Emery, I wouldn't say Pochettino plays expansive football or exciting football or anything, but at least there'll be a manager who I know has a clear way of doing things and sticks to his principles, and at least players will believe in him, because I genuinely don't believe these players believe in Unai Emery. So how can we do anything of note? On that note, I've got nothing more to say, so I'm going to get out of here. People, it's been a pleasure. Deluded, I'm out though.